Hi, I'm Richy.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
And we're the hosts of the Well podcast.
And in this show, we're going to talk about all things marketing related and the things that RA marketing can do for financial advisors, as well as what we're doing in our own financial advisory practices.
Yeah, like Andrew said, we are both active financial advisors. So we're in the field doing what you guys do. And so in this show, we'll share the good, the bad, and the ugly.
This episode of The Well starts now.
All right, welcome back. This is the Well Season 3. We've got another classy interview for you guys today.
Yeah, we're super excited. This has been a lot of fun. We've been learning a lot ourselves, but today Keith has Ed Hochard on the podcast with us, and we haven't seen this one, right? So we're going to be reacting right along with you here.
Watching it with you guys. And I'm going to say kind of a personal thing. Ed, years ago, saw him on stage, and he'll tell his story in a minute, but cancer survivor, and I don't know if he'll share it here or not, but he had this special treatment that really worked for him years ago. So anyways, fast forward about a year after that, my best friend, his son, got brain cancer. And I texted Ed just out of nowhere and said, hey, what was that thing? How do I do it? He just so kindly sent it all back to me so thoroughly, gave me everything that I needed so that I could pass it on to Sal. That just tells you what kind of a guy Ed is. So really looking forward to this interview. I know he's absolutely a beast in the industry. He's doing some heavy premium. He's good guy. But personal level, A+, production level, A+. So looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Ed, I want to welcome you to the podcast a little bit here with RA Marketing. Thanks for hanging out with me a little bit this morning, man. It's been we've been working together for a little bit, and I know you've had a lot of success out there in the world for decades. How long have you been at this, in the financial services world?
Wow. 1987. So I don't know, coming up on 39 years, I guess.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
dude, I know you're a beast in that gym still, even in, as you are. And I don't know, Ed, are you getting a little small on me, man? I mean, come on.
Well, I don't know. You could take a look and
there
see.
You
I
go.
just got back to the gym.
There you go, man. I love it. So we've been at events together. I go to the hotel gym while we're, at an event.
Sure.
I find your son Chris in there. I find you in there. I just think it's awesome. And we've always really connected over that. You
Absolutely.
have an incredible cancer survivor story.
Yes, I do.
Talk me through that a little bit.
Well, it's not something that I asked for. And when I was diagnosed, I'm like, why me? How me? I've been a gym rat since 16 and never smoked anything in my life. And I one day wake up and I'm diagnosed that day with stage 4 lung cancer. And oh, by the way, you terminally got a couple of months to live. I'm like, what the? How does this possible? How can something like this happen? So the Reader's Digest version of the story is, and for those that are really interested, and I hope you are, you can always go to my website, www.mycancerhealingstory.com. And there's a nice little YouTube video there that kind of summarizes my journey. But to give you the Reader's Digest version today, Keith, I just woke up one morning, couldn't breathe, drove to the ER. It was during COVID. The parking lot was empty. The ER was empty. I thought I was dreaming. I'm like, how does anybody ever go into an ER department when there's nobody there? So I lumber over to the window and I'm having a hard time breathing and talking. And the lady says, just wait right here. She brings the guy out with a stethoscope, puts it on my chest and says, okay, get him a room. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? I know I'm not having a heart attack. He goes, no, your left lung is completely collapsed. So they took me in, did an x-ray, and all they saw was black, just a black screen, nothing else. The fluid had collapsed my lung sac. So they took out 6 liters of fluid, then took another x-ray, and there they were, 2 tumors. And they literally exploded, and the cancer went friggin' everywhere, like my liver, my blood, it just was everywhere. So on day 3, my oncologist says, Edward, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you have stage 4 lung cancer, and there's nothing we can do for you. Edema carcinoma, 2 tumors, metastasized. There's 2 words we can't use with your condition, and that would be cure and remission. Those are words we can't even discuss. So basically it was like, get your affairs in order. And wow, I was like, that really hit me. Okay. So I'm sitting in my room for this brief moment where my wife wasn't there, and Doc leaves. He tells me this news. I'm in my bed and I'm like, how's this possible? I mean, am I dreaming? So I reach over, I grab my headset, I put my music on, I hit my play button. I got 400 songs in my little nano thing. And just whatever luck, the song comes up, pure random. Calling All Angels by Train. And,
Yeah.
you know, I'd heard the song 1,000 times in the last 20 years, played it at events, loved the song, but never had any meaning to it, right? And I'm playing this song, and like in the first, Keith, I'm telling you, within the first like 15 seconds, okay, I just get this news, I'm dying, and I get this overwhelming feeling. Now, look, I was brought up Catholic, so I never really was in that talking with God thing. I never got it. I'm like, okay, yeah, but I had that moment, bro. I had my physiology changed, and I had this feeling from head to toe. It came over me, and I'm like, wow. I said, I'm playing the song "Calling All Angels." I won't give up if you don't give up, and I'm tearing up, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna beat this. I don't know how, but I'm feeling right now that I'm gonna be able to beat this, and that led into finding a holistic cure, which, in my opinion, I'm cured. My oncologist doesn't know how or why. He says I'm in remission. So that's where we disagree on that level. And then all of a sudden, I realized that I had to share my story with everybody else. Because honestly, you go out in the public, talk to anybody. I don't care where you go. All these strangers out in the public, and you just tap somebody on the shoulder. Hey, can I ask you a question? Sure. Do you have cancer, or do you know anybody that has cancer? And they can't say no to that. That's how
always the answer is going to be yes. Yeah, always.
Right. So I realized that I had to tell my story. And what's amazing is this technology that I got out of South Africa. It's based off the Riis technology from the early 1900s, and that's another story. Dr. Raymond Riis, read him. What a story that is. So this is an offshoot of that, and this technology, it's not for cancer. It's for anything that you have wrong, anything that's gone wrong in your body on a cellular level. They have these quantum codes that can address it. Give you an idea. My brother had, I told him, get the machine. And I told him, I didn't ask him. I said, get the machine.
Yeah.
And my brother, he works on starters and alternators. He's got hands like the Hulk. His fingers, like one finger is like that thick, okay? He picks up a 90-pound starter with his fingers, okay? And tough guy. And he gets gout in his big toe, and he's like a 2-year-old, crying and pissing like he can't, I mean, brings him to his knees. So he hasn't had an episode with the gout since he turned on this technology. And I think he got a clean report from his eye doctor because he had, what do you call it, glaucoma?
Yeah.
Glaucoma. They doing shots. Now he's clean. So I don't know. Look, here's the thing. I just want to spread the word. I want to help people. And the way it ties it in, and can I lead that into this story real quick? The way it all ties together is that I've got all these advisors. I heard you doing workshops, having success. What are you doing? I said, well, I've tied in the wealth part, which is the annuity workshop knowledge, with the health part. Okay, my healing and my cancer story, and I've tied them together. And I get this look like, well, how did those two go together? I said, are you kidding me? 80, 70, 80, 90% of what we do is guaranteed lifetime income annuities. Okay, just ask Tom Hegna if you don't think those are appropriate, right? And people love the idea of the known. They like the idea of getting a guaranteed something that they can't outlive. So that's a very popular choice in our menu of options. And I said, look, if I'm going to put you in a lifetime annuity and give you a lifetime income and you're in your 70s and you have health issues, and I can turn you on to something that can extend your life by another 5 or 10 years or 15 years, do the math. If your income annuity that I propose is paying you 50 grand a year, and I'm giving you an extra 10 years because we found something wrong with you and we're fixing it, that's an extra 500 grand that came in your front door. How can you not pay attention to that? So it's amazing how they just fell together. Okay. So these workshops you guys are doing the marketing for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I first of all, I think it's a brilliant thing to match health and wealth together. And we're going to talk about this mega event that we did for you in Florida earlier this year that we worked together on.
Right.
But first of all, that is an incredible story. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I think, man, first of all, what an incredible story. I absolutely love the drive that comes through on this dude. Mm-hmm. He's just a beast. Like, he flexes on the camera. Like, he literally flexed to the cancer. Like, not gonna happen. Yep. So I just love his drive. It comes over on stage. It comes over in this video. It's super cool. But him taking that story and weaving it into the financial, plan for the clients is brilliant.
Yeah. You have to do that. I think that's one of the things that we discussed early on, and I know Keith talks about it. Everybody has a story in their life. Everybody does. Find whatever that story is for you that kind of correlates to what you do as a financial advisor, and make it real for the people in the room. I mean, mine's always been the weight loss story, and it's so easy now to just be like, just like my physical fitness journey, your financial fitness requires this kind of blah, 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 blah. And just tie it all in. And obviously the health and wealth story is not unique to him. I mean, Ed has a pretty awesome story, but I know there's a ton of advisors out there that are, they've dealt with their own health battles. Find a story like that and connect with your audience in that way.
Yeah, and I think find a good one. I've actually talked a couple times about this recently to some advisors, and they're like, well, I feel gimmicky. I feel like fake or whatever else. Well, I just told them, just don't be fake.
Yeah, be authentic. Tell your real story.
Don't plant a time that you're going to fake cry.
Right.
Like they'll see right there. Just tell the story. It doesn't have to be super emotional. It could be a vacation you went on and how awesome that was, and it just opened your eyes to what life can be like in retirement. And like you could anything that you want to do. I used to do the dog one, and that was a little emotional to me because I lost my dog, and everybody can relate to that. You know what? Some people hated it. They came up to me like, "Why'd you talk about your dead dog?" Like that was messed up. Yeah, I was like, "Well, it wasn't for you then." And that's cool.
Yeah.
So your seminars are, was it him or the one before? It's an interview,
right?
It's an interview for them. It's an interview for you. And it's a two-way thing. So if they don't like your story or whatever, like, okay, they're not a great client for you, and that's fine. Yeah. So just tell something that's authentic to you. You'll connect with them or you won't. And that's exactly what you want at the seminar.
That's right.
So that was great.
Well, I first of all, I think it's a brilliant thing to match health and wealth together. And we're going to talk about this mega event that we did for you in Florida earlier this year that we worked together on.
Right.
But first of all, that is an incredible story. I'm so glad you're still with us and to give me crap every day about what did I do in my workout. So thank you for being here. I'm so glad you are.
Sure.
From my heart, you're just become a good bud. And I love the jawing we do back and forth and everything.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You've been using us for several years and things. How has, our marketing, the approach that we use, how have we helped your company and your business do what you do?
Well, in all fairness, I will tell you, I did a couple of things before I met you guys that were mediocre results. I've done something recently with another advisor, with another marketing company with mediocre results. Okay. And it's not that it just happened that way. I wasn't out searching for something different. But the way you guys have helped me is, and there's a two-part thing. Okay, I don't want to take anything away from the hard work and effort that you guys do because it's fantastic. You're able to get me in front of quality people. Okay, and like you said, we'll talk about the Melbourne event in a minute. But I also think there's two secret ingredients to this. Not only does the marketing have to be spot on, okay, but the message that you guys put on that landing page has to work, okay? And I think we found it. I think we found it with what we're offering, okay? Whether it's the free wills and trust or the My Cancer Story, healing powers, or, the guaranteed lifetime income or the long-term care hybrid annuity I think it's the content that you guys put together that we work is really the success.
And you have a fantastic team too. I mean, you're drawing on nearly 4 decades of experience, first of all. So let's acknowledge that. It does take two to dance. I mean, we do our best. The advisor has to do their best too. Our job is opportunity to provide you the opportunity.
Right.
Your job as an advisor is to capitalize on that. But Ed, you're actually a little unique. I don't know if you know this, but you, as an advisor, as a financial professional out there, you go right to the annuity and long-term care. Your seminars are called annuity seminars. You advertise annuities in your advertising.
Right.
It's right there in your face, where a lot of people might be talking about safety and lifetime income planning, but they're not saying the word annuity. They're not necessarily coming out with the product. I would even say, like, I'm guilty of, guilty is the wrong word, but I am definitely one who says, let's be more well-rounded. Annuities can be a polarizing topic and word, right? But you've always said, no, I don't care. Let me go for it right away. And I have to say, your events, the way that we've crafted that message with you, but your just directness and going at what you're after has absolutely had the opposite effect of what I thought it would have. I thought it would not fly, right?
Yeah.
It soars for you. I wonder if you can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I've been in the industry 40 years, but back in the day, it was all about the mutual funds and equities and things like that. And I didn't really start the safe money strategies concept, the annuity concept, until like 2017. And long story short, I partnered up with a guy that I'd worked with 20 years earlier, and he and honestly, he said, "Hey, I need some help. You can present. You're knowledgeable. I trust you. Blah 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 blah. Let's do some workshops." So I went to one of his workshops, and they don't use the word annuity. They use the word bond alternative, because the annuity is like a 4-letter word that starts with F. And I'm like, I don't know. But anyway, so fast forward, we did really well. We did some great production, but I had to separate because of the broker-dealer situation that wanted me to get a 65 license, and I want no part of that. So, and he's still a really good friend of mine. I talk to him every week. But the point is that I wasn't comfortable not mentioning the word annuity. And if I mention it and I see you cringe, that gives me the opportunity to say, all right, explain to me what's so wrong with annuities. And I get my pen out and I'm like, okay, let's see here. What's number one? And they can't, it's like, I just told her, I just read it. So yeah, I came out of the gate. Matter of fact, the first company name when I started, it was called the Annuity Shop. Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys did the first.
I've seen your hat. I've seen your hat.
We had the cover, and you're like, you want to do what? You want to market annuities? You want to have? You don't want to like. Typically, you'll see Social Security workshops, taxes,
right? And they get around to it. Eventually,
they get around to it. And I'm like, screw that. Here's the thing: if I can get 30 people that are not brainwashed about annuities that want to learn more, I'd rather do that than get 50 people where 20 of them are brainwashed, thinking that it's not the way to go. You see what I'm saying? Now, we've reversed that thought process and policy as we go forward through this little podcast. I'll explain in more detail, but you're right. We started out with just annuities. And if you don't like them, don't come. Don't sign up. I don't care. And if you hate them, come anyway, because we'll banter back and forth. Either way, I'll take it. But the idea was to laser focus on those that wanted that. Now we've broadened the scope. Of course, I brought in the health portion and some other things. Yeah. But honestly, Keith, I don't know. It's just like I can't wait for the next 36 months to see how many hundreds, thousands maybe of people that we can impact. Not only would I like to take my system, I'm more than willing to share with anybody out there that wants to grow or that's struggling or that needs some help.
Because Ed, you're used to go. I mean, I've seen. Yeah, you're in Florida, but you've gone to New Jersey, you've gone to Oklahoma, you've gone to California. You do events with advisors. You help them put on events and show them your system, don't you?
Right. And the problem is they're like, oh, I'm not like you. I don't have a cancer story. I said, look, you don't need to go out and get cancer. Just tell my story. You know what I'm saying? Let me video. You tell my story. Hey, this is a good friend of mine. I work with Ed. Look at his story. So, and it doesn't even have to be that story. It could be another story. Maybe you got your own personal story that'll work.
Right.
I think that the workshops, you can't get up there with a coat and tie and sound like an accountant. Okay. You gotta, in my opinion, you gotta dress down a little bit with a collared golf shirt and work around the room. Don't stand up there with a microphone or a headset. I mean, that's what works for me. And I get it. Some people, what works for one may not work for another. What works in New Jersey doesn't work in Florida. What works in Florida doesn't work in Oklahoma. I understand that there's things that have to be, you make adjustments based on territory, but the message still is the same thing. I'm going to teach you and I'm going to share my personal message with you. And I think people relate to that.
What do you kind of marketing, just trends out there as you're meeting with people? What are you finding, the people that sit down with you? What are they expressing to you are their top concerns? What are they worried about? What are they excited about? What are they thinking about?
Believe it or not, it's the same thing that's in our presentation. The number one fear for consumers out there is they're going to outlive their money. Because what they're seeing over the last several years is everything is going up in cost. But their retirement income's not going up in cost, or their wages are not going up in cost. So they're scared to death of, that's the number two fear is dying. Okay. The number one fear is running out of money and still, so that's the first thing. And that's why the income annuities are so important. And then when you bring it to their attention, like I do in the presentation, we address long-term care. People don't even look, I'm telling you, I'll go around the room and ask people to define long-term care. And I apologize up front for embarrassing them if they don't know the answer, but this is tough love, baby. Okay. And I go right through the room and I'll ask 10 people define long-term care. And generally only one will get it towards the end. They don't know what it is. So then when I tell them what it is, like, oh yeah, I kind of knew that. Well, what have you done to prepare for it? Well, nothing. Why? Because I don't know how to prepare. So we're going to show them how
Yeah.
to pitch. Yeah. So then running out of income is the first thing. Long-term care obviously is the next thing. And then when I break into stage 2 of my presentation on the health part, that almost supersedes everything else, because everybody that's in that room that's 65 and older, they're on meds. They're on this, they're on that.
And I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it because you're sitting here saying, let's give you lifetime income. They're afraid of running out of money. So that obviously is part of an answer. But if you're going to sit there and tell them, hey, maybe by better health, you can extend by many years or even a decade
exactly.
then I'm even more in danger of running out of money. Well, actually, no. I see the marriage here of how well that can work.
Isn't that crazy? I don't know. It was an accident. I bumped into that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it kind of hit you like a freight train in the chest, So what have you learned in the presentation? I'm sure over 39-ish years, you've seen things come and go. You've seen trends come and go. How have you evolved in your own presentation style and everything? I mean, some of it I think you've hit on.
Well, Keith, when I started 40 years ago, I wasn't doing annuities. Okay. I didn't start anything in the safe money annuity business till 2017. So previous to that, I was all about the equity side. And honestly, I started at age 29. So my clients are 29, 30. So all us baby boomers were in the market, and we needed to be. And we needed to pay attention to dollar cost averaging, et cetera, Roth IRAs. So that was then. When all of a sudden I woke up one day and I was in my 60s and I'm like, what the heck happened? Okay. Now all of my clients are my age. I mean, baby boomers we're in our 60s, and they don't need growth and risk. They need protection of what they built for the last 30 or 40 years. So it was an easy transition. So obviously what I used to say 40 years ago is nothing like what I say today. Okay. Now, in all fairness, I have also noticed just in the last 12 to 18 months, how my presentation has changed dramatically and evolved. Okay. Obviously part of that change is the health portion. Okay. Which we experimented with this. What was it in April, that last weekend in April, where you guys did that big marketing campaign for me. That was our first experiment. And it was, I can't wait till we talk about that, but that was like off the charts. Okay. And then I knew at that point, the wealth and health was the way to go. So that's how
let's get into it. I mean,
I think Ed said something really super valuable there. I mean, he talked about, he's been in this business for almost 40 years, and what he's doing today is totally different than what he was doing 39 years ago. But I think even more critical was what he said, even in the last 18 months, things have evolved. I think a lot of us, and I'm guilty of this for sure, get married to our process and our ideas and how we're doing things, and this has worked for me. I don't need to change anything. The willingness to adapt is critical if you want to stay relevant, because if you're just talking the same exact message, you're not modifying your things, you're not improving on yourself and being willing to make change. You're gonna get stagnant and flat, and you're not gonna see the goals in production that you want to see.
Yeah, I love that. The other thing that made me laugh when he said it is where he did the tough love thing to the audience. Like, hey, sorry, this is tough love. If you don't know it, you're gonna just be embarrassed, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's hilarious to me because that awkward kind of tension is not my style at all.
Yeah.
But what is really key about what he does there is really important with speaking and being dynamic. Because what I have found back in the early days, you're just kind of nervous, so you just say your speech and like you're not really adding these little moments, audience touch point moments, because you're just trying to get through your speech. But as you get more and more into this thing, you realize that if you're just talking your speech the whole time, people fall asleep. They don't pay attention. And so what I realized about, earlier this year at some point, is that if I have these little moments of they think they're going to get called on, but they're not, they pay attention.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to not know the answer in front of people. So it could be easy things like, Andrew, do you think, taxes are going to go up and down? Oh, you think they're going to go up? Okay, great. But now like Andrew's like, oh, he might call me again. Like, what do I do there? Or in the beginning where I say that, say me thing. Now they all have to say me. But those moments, basically those kind of awkward moments equal audience attention. So what he's doing there is such a seasoned vet thing to do. So you don't have to be as like direct and like kind of like awkward if it's not your personality, but do work in those moments where your audience isn't really necessarily sure if they're going to be called on, because if they feel that, their engagement is so much higher.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it. I mean, so you came to us with this idea, health and wealth, but it wasn't just that. This was a mega event. Now we have a at RA, we have a standard package and a large package. A standard is usually like a one date, one time, a room of 20 to 30 households. A large package is a Tuesday, Thursday, or 2 dates usually. And, maybe 15 to 25 households each day. You were like, no. I want to do 2 large packages with the premier upgrades all on the same day. You had a lunch and a dinner run, and you did a hybrid package. So we did mailers as well as a digital. And our hybrid packages are a full direct mail campaign and a full digital campaign, but you did that times 2.
Right.
And then you also did a lot of groundwork on your own, right? We give you your own unique funnel that you can use for your own organic outreach and everything like that, that your ground team did do. But my goodness, so I'm going to give the results, and then I want you to talk through it a little bit. Here's what we know happened. On our side, 150 exactly households registered, 150 between the lunch and the dinner in Melbourne. You did have about 20 or so that were from your own ground efforts, which was fantastic to see. I know you had 98 financial units, household units show up between the 2 times, and you set 64 appointments right there on the spot. That's the bottom line of the story. Fill me in on all the details of the story.
Well, we're still working those. I just look, a lot
of course you are. There was 64 appointments, for heaven's sakes.
Well, so in all fairness, when people come to an event like that, like, well, I can't do anything because my CD doesn't mature until November or December, or I'm not a surrender charge until October with my annuity that I'm in that sucks, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we're probably going to have another, 30, 40 sales over the next 6 months trickling in. Okay. Because I want to make sure we do the right thing for clients. And if we have to wait on the sale because of a surrender charge or a CD and maturity date, that's the way it is. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I tell you, maybe at the year mark, like next April, if we do a little autopsy on the entire event, it wouldn't surprise me if $10 million comes from that one event.
Well, I know you're between 4 to 5 right now already. And that, so let's just talk money for a minute. Imagine that. You spent $18,000 with us to get that done. 64 appointments, all that, but you spent $18,000. You've already written between 4 to 5 million. I mean, what's that ROI? It's fantastic. And I'm not going to be shy about that.
I don't even know, but it's off the charts. Yeah. It's off the charts.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, how many people did you have working that event? I mean, so this is a big event. Not everyone can pull this off, but you had to have a good team.
You know what? Honestly, I was understaffed. Okay. And just so people know, from what my memory tells me, I had like 101, 2 or 3 actually confirmed that said they were going to be at the dinner. They confirmed. I don't know how many registered, but 102 or 3 confirmed with phone calls. Okay. And with your efforts. And the dinner had 116 people show up. Now, who does a friggin' workshop where more people show up? Well, what happens is friends are telling friends about this crazy ass event and they're getting interested. And the same thing happened at lunch. Lunch was like, 60 or 70 something. And we had more show up than confirmed. So both of those events, more showed up than confirmed. And that just doesn't happen. And that never happened to me in any other workshops I've ever done. And everybody else that I know that does workshops, it's never happened. And again, it's 2 things. It was the marketing effort on your part, and it was the content on our part. Okay, so I think that was a winning combination. I'm sorry. What was the question?
No, you got it. I mean, big time. And we have had other advisors ask us about your event and how did they do it, and to be just let's just cut to it. That it is a big event. It is a mega package, which is our large package times 2. Yep. It requires a ground team. It requires staff. I mean, don't undertake this unless you're ready to do the lift.
You're right. I was understaffed when it came to setting the appointments, doing the discovery calls. I mean, I was overwhelmed. And if you're one of those guys that has 3 or 10 agents in your organization, you can do something like this and have the same results, and then have your entire team. Because here's the thing, for the most part, if you don't meet or talk to the people within 7 days, 10 at the most, okay, you're done. They've moved on. They forgot. Right. So there's a sense of urgency. Now, I don't mean you call them up and you say buy or die right there. What I mean is you got to start the process, okay? And it's just, and I've learned a couple of other things just since that workshop, okay, on how to setting that 10-minute discovery call. See, here's the thing. I don't even have a friggin' office, okay? Because prior to doing this event, I was doing events in other states, which means I don't need an office in Florida to do an event in other states. My other primary lead generation system that I was buying leads were in other states. So I was getting clients in Illinois and Connecticut and Massachusetts and North Carolina and Virginia. And if I'm getting clients in those states, I don't need an office here in Brevard County where I live. They're not going to travel down here. All right.
Right.
So now that I'm actually working Central Florida, now I have to start looking for office space. That's one of those things I've got to entertain.
Grow. It's like, you're going to finally grow up after 4 decades in the.
Well, nobody likes paying rent. I can tell you that much.
Oh,
I mean,
heck no.
But it is what it is. So if you're a guy now, if you're just a one guy advisor and you don't have a team, but you want to do $10 million a year, I can show you how to do that. Okay. You have to work your ass off and you got to have the marketing and you got to commit to it. I've noticed from people that I've talked to, they've tried one workshop here, one workshop there. Nothing works when you try it once or twice. I don't care how lucky you are. It just doesn't work that way. Now, if you do a workshop every 6 to 7 weeks and you do that for a year and you fail, I can easily find out what you did wrong, because you can't fail if you commit to that. So, and you guys even ask, and so does everybody else, are you willing to commit the money for marketing? Okay. Or whatever else you need to commit the money for it, the help, the, hiring staff or whatever.
Well, you got to stay in that batter's box.
Absolutely.
You just do. I mean, I talk about Babe Ruth sometimes, and 740 home runs, right? But something that people don't realize is he had more than 1,300 actual strikeouts as well.
Right.
Okay. And stay in the batter's box.
Right.
And you can do great things.
Right.
You're absolutely right. Invariably, Ed, one of the campaigns that we do together will not go as well as we all hope, despite everyone's best efforts. Yep. But then almost as invariably, several will, and it will make up for. So we try to be a partner, not a vendor, right? We hate that word vendor. Yep. That's why you and I just, beat each other up and just go back and forth and like, no, let's try this. No, let's try this. Well, how can we both do this better?
Right.
And that idea of consistency, how many times we should just call this podcast consistency with the well.
That's right.
I mean, that's like that's the secret to success, is just doing it. I've had a couple of events. I would imagine you're the same. I don't know. I imagine you guys listening are the same. I had a couple of events this year where I didn't see any production out of it.
Yeah. I have definitely. I think I don't remember exactly how many I've run, but it's 12 to 15. And at least 2 or 3 of them have been goose eggs.
Yeah. Have you lost any sleep on those?
No.
I haven't either.
No. I mean it happens.
Certainly I would like to. And certainly we're in the, we're like, for sure you want it to be profitable. I'm not suggesting wasting money is fun.
Right.
But we're not losing sleep because we have 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 already scheduled past that.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he's saying. Like, you just run them every 6 weeks. You literally can't fail unless you're just terrible. And if you're terrible, either get really good coaching or find a different job.
Right. I remember when we first started, both of us, when we were working at the FMO, we were chasing some of these producers that were, they were doing $500,000 a year or $1 million a year. And we're like, oh man.
I remember $1 million was like, oh buddy, $1 million producer.
This is huge. And now, like, after doing this for 3 or 4 years, like, if you can't fall backwards into that kind of production, if you're consistently marketing, you should not be doing this business. And I don't say that to be a discouragement to guys, but like, man, just keep going.
In fact, have that be an encouragement to you.
Right.
Because if you're not seeing that business out of it, it's okay. It just means that you're not doing something right.
That's exactly what Ed said. And I love that. He's like, if you're actually committed to doing this and you're consistently marketing and you're not seeing that kind of production, you are doing something wrong and it can be fixed. It's not that the marketing is a problem. It's not that, your market is a problem. I remember hearing that. So, my market's so bad. My market's bad. Whatever. Don't give me that. I market in Morristown, Indiana, like podunk small little towns, and we see success, right?
Yep.
You can be in a big city, you can be in a little town. It does not matter. If you're consistent with your marketing and you have enough lines in the water, you will absolutely see success as long as you're following a process. I mean, going back to what Jesse was talking about, you got to have that defined process. And
Got to have a defined process and then just follow it and just don't get discouraged. You know? And just find something. Most people in this industry are very open book. Like it's not, you come to me, I'll walk you through everything. You come to my seminar, you come sit in my appointments. Like I mean, if I can help you, awesome. And most guys are that way.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. I mean, just these last two that we've watched together, these are massive producers that have done a ton of production and done it for years. And what I've noticed about both of them is they're an open book. They'll tell you anything you want to know. Now, maybe if you're in their backyard, they won't, right? But you know, for the most part, this is a big enough, blue enough ocean that we can all share. I mean, that's why we started the well in the first place, is to share what we're learning so that other people can learn and develop their businesses and grow alongside us.
Yeah. The holy grail of this business is if you could get it to where I know if I run this event, this production follows, just on average. You'll have some ducks, you'll have some whatever. But if you get to that point, then it's just like, how many can you run? I mean, that's all it is. And then how much business can I support? Yeah, I've been reading a lot about this recently because I'm kind of at what point do I scale? Like I'm doing pretty good, but at what point do I hire and who should I hire and those kinds of things? And I've read that between 80 and 120 clients is who one advisor could service. If you get above that, then you just can't remember that Susie's, got sick last month and you can't remember that the grandson's baseball game was last weekend, had that go or the vacation. Like you just don't have the capacity for it. So between 80 and 120 is where that kind of rises. Do you think that's accurate for you? You have like a steel trap though. Like
but
for
no,
me, I'm probably at like 40 and I'm out. But
yeah, I would say that's true. I mean, that's something that we've been kind of wrestling with as well, is like, how long do we want to market? Because I think like you and I have somewhat different goals as it relates to like where do we see the future of our business. And where I think I've landed, and I don't know if this is practical or not, but I think 150 households is about where I think I won't be able to manage it myself anymore. And I don't know, maybe that's true, maybe it's not. We'll see. I'm not there yet, so we'll find out.
It's a lot of households.
But I mean, there's been times even just in the last month for me where we've ramped up our marketing for the fall, as you should if you're not. That's fall and early winter are the times to do it. But I'm realizing it's like, wow, with all like the introductory meetings I'm doing and also trying to remember everything that's going on with actual clients, like I got to prioritize those people. So I think to that point, I think for me personally, 100 to 150 is going to be where I'm going to have to say, whoa, I need to slow down and focus in on the clients I have. And even that might be too much. And I might have to change some of my aspirations. Like maybe I do need to bring somebody on to help with this if I really want to continue to grow. So we'll see.
Nothing's wrong. You just kind of pick out what is it? What are you building toward?
Yeah.
And then make changes as you go along. So, man, that's just really good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, just as I wrap up here a little bit with you, Ed, this has been awesome, by the way. What would your advice be looking forward and coming up? More marketing, writing business practice, whatever. What would your advice be to other advisors and agents?
Well, obviously, it depends if you're a one-man team or if you're an agency with agents. Okay, they vary a little bit differently. If you got agents and you got a team or an agency, then you got to go with the big packages. You go big or go home. End of story. Okay. Look, here's the thing. I love being in a room of 100 or more or 500 or more. Okay. I like working in that room like crazy. That's just me. That's my personality. Now I will tell you, if you stick to that 30 to 40 person, high quality, high prospect room, you're going to close a boatload of business. And that's easy to do as a single producer. Okay. So if you're a single producer and you want to learn how to write $10 million a year, every year in annuity business, which will pay you between $500,000 to $700,000 a year. Okay. Then friggin' commit to doing a workshop every 6 to 7 weeks. Every month is tough. That's if you're on your own, just when you finish one workshop and you're trying to close everything and,
meet with everyone, get through it.
It's a little tight. Okay. At least from my perspective. So if you commit to every 6 weeks or every 7 weeks, 8 weeks is a little long. Okay. But 6 to 7 weeks, commit to it. And certain times of the year, depending, like if you're up north, you're not going to get the kind of results in November, December, January. At least I don't think you would with the friggin' weather that they have up there. But in the summer months and spring and fall months, you could do them every 3 weeks, and stack them that way. So it depends. And again, territory, it's different areas. So yeah, the advice is very simple. Lock on, commit to get a budget and what you want to commit to. Work with your FMO. Okay. They should help you out if you're turning in business. If they're not helping you out, call me, please. Okay. It doesn't make sense. But get that set in stone and don't look back. Just keep going. And I'll give my name, my number, my email. I'm out here. Anybody wants to call me, ask me, pick my brain. I'm here. That's my job. I'm
You're
paying
always
attention
so
forward.
good. You're so good about that, Ed. That is one thing I really do love about you. You are genuine. You are open. You are authentic. And hey, buddy, this has been awesome today. Thanks for setting aside,
Yeah,
a
of
little
course.
bit of an hour.
Well, I appreciate you guys and all the work you do, and I'm looking forward to the next 30 or 40 campaigns that we do together. Honestly, this is going to be great.
It's going to be epic, my brother. Okay, well, hey,
All right.
Thanks so much, Ed, and man, until next time.
You got it, Keith. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Dude, how awesome was that?
Yeah, that's I think what I'm really enjoying about all these interviews is like totally different business models, totally different, strategies and styles, but there's been a couple of themes that have been pretty consistent throughout, and consistency is one of them. Like, just got to keep going.
Yeah, the last one we saw, multiple locations, big office, all these people. I think Ed said he doesn't have an office.
Yeah.
So I mean, how awesome is that? Like,
right.
You could do it. You can do it. Whatever it is, whatever the business is you want to run, you can do it. You just commit to it and get it going. And even at the very end there, the last thing he said is the next 30 or 40. He's not thinking 1 or 2.
Right.
He's thinking 30, 40. We're talking 2-3 years down the road. And that's how you get to a level of Ed. So
that's right. Yeah. I can't remember who said it to us, but we were talking to somebody from an FMO a while back. And it's like, there's so many ways to do this business. None of them are wrong. As long as you're ethical and you're honest and you're looking out to help and actually try to improve your clients' lives, there's not a wrong way to do this business from like a structural standpoint. Just find what resonates with you and do it consistently.
Yeah, care about them, keep your integrity, you'll fall into the business.
Yep.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Awesome episode. Well, I don't know what the next one is, but it'll be great. It's going to be so good. It'll be the best part of your week whenever that happens.
That's right.
So we'll see you for that.